If y'all give me another amen, we won't be in here long, amen. Now y'all get the slow moving, I'm gonna make my engine run slow, amen. We're excited today as we celebrate Palm Sunday. Palm Sunday, even though we celebrate Palm Sunday, because I remember the time Palm Sunday came during the springtime. This year kind of came on the offset of winter, amen, because we still cold, amen. I remember as a little boy, Palm Sunday came when the dogwood trees were blooming. And I could tell the dogwood trees, Deacon Park, I know you're a city slicker, dogwood tree will have the white blooms. And they say the dogwood tree is the same wood they made the cross out of. And it will be so beautiful, amen. But God just reminded us this year, you can't predict him. You can't predict God, amen. So some of y'all had packed up your winter clothes. And winter was like, God. You can't predict God. And just the same way God changed the season at his own discretion, sometimes God can change your situation. So don't look at it being bad right now. God will turn around in the twinkling of an eye. It may look bad right now, but just wait on God. And before I even preach, do anybody already want to just wave and say, he'll turn it around for you? It looked bad, but God worked it out for the good. Luke chapter number 19. Luke writes more in the New Testament than any other writer. Even though Paul writes more books between the Acts of the Apostles and the Gospel Luke writes more than any other writer in the New Testament. Luke tells more about the birth as well as the death and resurrection than anybody else. But one thing about Luke was not a disciple. Luke was not there. He was not an apostle. He became a disciple because the story was told to him. What are you saying, Reverend? I don't have to be there, but if you tell me how good God has been to you, it made me want to tell somebody else that God done it for them. He can do it for me. Luke writes the story as if he were there. Sometimes you ought to be so convincing in your testimony, your conviction, how God has brought you out of some stuff that somebody want to run and tell what the Lord has done for you. Do I have anybody in the building that got a story to tell? And so Luke writes here in chapter 19, as Jesus' ministry in Jerusalem really comes to an end. He goes into Jerusalem the last time alive. He goes into Jerusalem the last time, the last week he walks in Jerusalem. There's different narratives, because Matthew talks about it in chapter 21, Mark talks about it in chapter 11, John talks about it in chapter 12, but here Luke talks about it in chapter 19 from what he knows. And we're going to look at verse number 37, and it says, and as soon as he was approaching near the descent of the Mount of Olives, the whole crowd of disciples began to praise God joyfully with a loud voice for all the miracles which they had seen, shouting, "Blessed is the King who comes in the name of the Lord. Peace in heaven and glory in the highest." Some of the Pharisees in the crowd said to him, there's always going to be some Pharisees in your crowd. "Teacher, rebuke your disciples." See, some people want you to be quiet in church. And sometimes people on your road, they think you're making too much noise. But they don't know what you've been through. They don't know what you had to go through to even get here on this Sunday morning. And you don't know, when they talk about cancer, they talk about all this stuff, they talk about the shooting, they don't know you done made it through when your child was there, or you dealt with cancer, or you done dealt with layoff, and you still made it through. So when they tell you to stop shouting, they don't know what you've been through. So I was these some Pharisees that, and don't run about the crowd. They just have been through what you've been through. I guarantee you, enough Pharisees go through what you've been through, they'll have a praise also. And so they said, the Pharisees get up and said, "Rebuke your disciple." But Jesus said, "I tell you, if these become silent, the stones will cry out." When he approached Jerusalem, he saw the city and wept over it. And he said, "If you had known in this day, even you, the things which make for peace, but now they have been hidden from your eyes. I just want to talk for a few moments with your amen, a day of rejoicing, praising, and weeping. Amen. One of the first scriptures that I could recite, I remember when I would go to Big Mama Church on Sunday morning. The children, and it's going to be a beautiful thing on Sunday when the kids give their speeches and recitation on next week. But every Sunday, Sister Moon, the kids would have to give up and give a scripture. However, I will forget that when I went to Big Mama Church because Big Mama went to a holiness church. But at the Baptist church, we just sat there. But I had to remember scripture, and they said, all right, look, Quentin, come on, give a scripture. I could always remember one scripture. Y'all remember it too? That's the shortest scripture in the Bible. There's 2 times where Jesus cried. It's recorded 3 times. The gospel writer talks about it twice, and one time it talks about he cried when he went into the city for the last time here. And another gospel writer writes about it, how Jesus wept. And he also cried when his friend Lazarus had died. So that lets you know Jesus, Deacon Brian, had emotions and feelings just like us, because Jesus was not only God, but he was man also. So don't think because he was God, he didn't feel. Jesus cried when he lost his friend. Even though he had the power to bring him back, it's always hard to lose a loved one. And so we see Jesus weeping as he goes into the city for the last time. But before he wept, there was a lot of people as he was on the Mount of Olives, and the Mount of Olives was filled with olive trees, and the olive tree lives forever. That's why you get anointed with the olive oil. The oil that comes from the olive tree that brings life and it lives forever. And as he came down off this mountain, there was people already praising and rejoicing because of his coming. So I start going to tell you, you can rejoice and praise and cry all in the same day. If you don't believe me, ask somebody that got some children. Ask somebody that's been married sometime. Ask somebody that have a job and you're excited on Monday morning when you get there by 4 o'clock. You get the email. You can rejoice and be excited and cry all in the same day. Anybody been there? It don't take but one text message. It don't take but one call in the midnight hour that can change a whole day. Some of you excited right now. You all planning like, well, Red talking about going to eat some vegetables. I'm going to sneak on over to old country before he get out of church good and get me a little something. You excited about all that stuff, and all of a sudden you get a phone call. You forget about even your joy bell fall by the side and tear ducts just fill your eye. Let trouble come in your life. We can all have a good day one day, and all of a sudden you get a call about your child. You get a child call about your family member. Or the doctor say we got a report back. You can rejoice and cry at the same time. Here, the 3-4 things I want to give you, as Jesus was going to the city for the last time, he was praying for himself on the Mount of Olives. Sister Clark, Sister Clark, sometime before you face your Jerusalem, you got to be prayed up yourself. And the believers, Sister Bella, we good about praying for everybody else, but sometimes you're going to face a passion moment for yourself when the very folk that you think love you will put you on the cross. Jesus was on the Mount of Olives. He left everybody away from him by himself, and sometimes you got to steal away. The crowd is good for some of y'all, but as I get a little older, I find more peace just being all by myself. And I know a lot of y'all like to have people around, like to talk on the phone, but as you get older, you can't really hear from God with everybody talking and everybody giving their opinion. Sometimes you got to get by yourself. And Jesus was on the Mount of Olives by himself, and when he came down, the people was praising, they were rejoicing, and they was excited for what God has done for others. And every now and then, before you face stuff, you better be prayed up. Before you take that trip up the road, you better pray. Before you go to work on Monday, you better pray. Before you go to the doctor, you better pray. If Deacon can't make it, if Pastor can't make it, if cousin can't make it, you better learn to talk to the Lord for yourself. See, on Calvary, on that Sunday morning, the veil of the temple was ripped in half. That means you had the opportunity to talk to God for yourself. You better learn to have a prayer life for yourself. I want to give you 4 things that I hope it bless your soul today. Number 1, what happened, we look at the text here, I think it says, as soon as he was approaching near the descent of the, as he was back at the bottom of the mountain, the whole crowd of disciples, these disciples here are followers of Christ. This is not the 12, because they were known as apostles, and everybody else that followed became disciples. The 12 were disciples, but at this point, they're other followers. All the followers of Jesus here are praising God joyfully. So point number 1, anticipate God to show up. You got to expect God to show up in whatever you in right now. I believe it was Shadrach that said, if God don't show up, he's still able. You got to believe that if it's a bad circumstance in your life, you got to anticipate. They was waiting on God to come. The Jerusalem, the Jews, the Israelites had been waiting prior to Jesus coming 400 years for the Messiah. And for the last time as they walked through the city, they was waiting for him to come down. Every now and then, in the midst of your storm, Sister Tessa, you ought to say, I know it's rough right now, but God is going to show up. I may be crying right now, but he'll wipe all of my tears away. Do I have anybody that got a life that's filled with expectancy, anticipation? He may not come right now, but I wish Big Mom would say here today, she'd say he may not come when you want him to come, but he's always right on time. And with the spirit of anticipation, you got to understand sometimes God will take his time. This guy, I wish he would come and I want him to come. But God gave a parable through Matthew. He said there was 10 virgins and 5 were wise and 5 were foolish. But the 5 wise took oil with them in their vessel. But the 5, the foolish, they take the oil because when the bridegroom tarried, I think he took his time. The one that was foolish didn't have oil. They didn't have what it took to wait on God. Sometimes you just got to wait until your change comes. It may not come in your time, but if you got enough praise to get you through, enough hallelujah to get you through, you have a song to get you through, you got to praise God until God turns some stuff around. Do I have anybody that want to help me with this sermon and say, I realize that if I just wait on God, he'll turn some stuff around? Because that's what I've heard, because of what I have seen for myself. Brother Donald, we got to anticipate God to show up, to save our children. We got to wait on God to fix our thing. We got to wait on God to give that promotion. Wait on God to help your mindset with the prayer. So you got to learn to just say, you know what? He's on the way. I told you one time I thought I felt like I was winning when I went to college and came back home and I got jumped. And I thought I was winning the fight until I failed. And all the boys that I thought I was winning got on top of me. It's all right now. It wasn't me. In the distance, I could hear the siren. I'm like, please get here. I ain't never been so excited to see police show up. I said, when they get here, I'm going to be all right. Sometimes you just got to wait until your help show up. You may be going through right now, but you're going to say, I can hear it in the distance. My help is on the way. Do I have anybody that knows you got help that's on the way? You can't do it by yourself, but just keep on listening to the wind, bro. Keep on listening to the birds. So if God can cause animals to fly and you don't know how they can stay in the air, God can fix your situation. If God can cause dew to fall in the middle of the night and you don't feel nothing on your hand, God can allow your situation to turn around. Don't have anybody know if you just wait on God, God will send help your way. They was waiting on God to come. And believers, if you are a child of God, it said disciple, if you're a child of God, you got to anticipate God show up. He's not going to leave you what you in, Sister Corey Jones, and just forget about you. He's not going to leave you in the den of lions and just leave you there. God will show up. Look at somebody tell me to show up. You just got to wait on him. Now, number two, we not only must anticipate God showing up, we also got to praise God for the miracles he done and seen in others. If you look at the text, Brother Adrian, they was praising God for the miracles they seen. That's what the text says. Many people only praise God for what he do for them. But you got to learn to praise God for what he done for others already and what you see him do for somebody else. See, many of us can't get our blessing because when I see God do a miracle in your life, you get a little jealous. You get a little jealous. Don't get jealous. I praise God because if God can bless Sister Banks over there, and I see them bless Sister Banks, and I know Brother Chris got blessed too, it's just a matter of time that my blessing is on the way. Don't have anybody to praise God for the miracle that he's done already and seen in somebody's life. Don't wait till your day comes. You praise him when God, somebody else get blessed. When somebody else has a baby, you get excited. Somebody else get married, you get excited. Somebody else get a promotion, you get excited. Somebody drive a new car, stop talking about why she driving that and say, you know what, if God bless you with a new car, I know he can give me a promotion on my job, fix my credit, and I can get what you get excited for the miracle that God has done in somebody else's life. Praise God for the miracle. And the disciple, I'm talking about believers and disciples, they praise God for what he had, the miracles they had seen. It's different. And I understand you praise God for what he's done for you. You would be crazy not to praise God for him doing something for you. But you got to be some type of Christian to praise God to do something for somebody else. That's the sign of a true believer. Because you don't praise God for what he's done, you praise him for who he is. And when you can see God do something for somebody else, you got to accept the fact he's not doing it for me for a reason. Because there's a lot of stuff we ask for, Sister Sonia, that we don't need. Amen. And we feel like God is not blessing us with it. God is blessing you by not giving it to you. I wish I had at least 2 amen. There's a lot of stuff we ask for, Sister Gresham, and we wonder why we don't have it. That's the blessing of them not having it. Because like I said in revival last week, one of the biggest things that hurt many black people that they ask for and get, you know what that is? Success. But a lot of people get success, they forget about God. You don't let God bless you so much. And that's why some of y'all ain't won that $450 million. I know y'all like, well, I got to check my ticket. I'm on time, Pastor. Because God already knows if he gave you that $450 million, you wouldn't tithe all to the church. Oh, that's too much to give to the church. Give the church $4.5 million. Look at see, some of y'all didn't think about it like that. That is a tithe. And God said, listen, I don't bless you where you are. Don't allow what God is doing for others keep you from seeing his work in your life. Number 3, not only must anticipate God to show up, praise God for the miracles and what he's done and seen others. But number 3, don't allow those around you to stop your praise. When Jesus was coming out the mountain, the people was praising God so loud that the Pharisees, the religious leaders, the keepers of the law said to Jesus, rebuke your disciples and make them be quiet. Amen. And Jesus said, Brother Jawan, that if they stop praising me, somebody got to see my blessings. Because if they don't praise me, I'll make the rocks cry out. Don't let God bless you and you can't see how he's blessing you and you become a mute, deaf, dumb, and silent because you can't find a reason to praise God. Listen, you always got a reason to praise God. If a rock that's lying there not doing anything can have a reason to praise God. If God woke you up this morning, you should have a reason to praise God. If God kept you in your right mind, you should have a reason to praise God. If God kept you through divorce, through layoff, through heartache, through pain, through sickness, through trouble, through trials, through despondency, through depression, you should have a reason to praise God. So if you don't praise God, God can make the rocks cry. Don't let people around you that can't see what God is doing for you and through you stop you from praising God. Listen, if they're around you, you praising God, tell them you may be sitting about the wrong person because you don't know like I know what the Lord has done for me. Don't have anybody in the building. I'm not asking you to run around, jump on the pew, but that's all right if you do. But don't have anybody that got a reason to give God a praise. You should have some type of reason. And God told the Pharisees, listen, if they don't praise me, listen, don't let people around you say you're doing too much. It don't take all that. Listen, it takes that and some. Because what Jesus done for me, I got to give him some type of praise. When you know you hadn't been right all your life, it ain't right now, and God's still blessing you, you ought to praise him even more. I know some of y'all think because we church folk, we always talk about what we used to do. Let me help y'all, baby. There's some of us still doing stuff right now. You ought to be praising right now. Don't be talking about, oh, God done brought me from a light and long way to stuff I used to do. Some of you still doing some of the same stuff, and God still does. You ought to learn to praise him. If these don't praise me, you the these, we the these. If we don't praise him, he make a bird get up every morning and say, Trinity, Trinity. And if you don't praise him, he'll get a rooster about 5 o'clock every morning say, cockle, doodle-doo. If you don't praise him, he'll get a cow in a lonely field that'll go moo. He'll find a sheep and go bad. Listen, if you got breath in your body, I'm not making this up. The Bible says that everything. Check on your neighbor, make sure your neighbor breathing. The Bible says that everything that have breath. Some of y'all ain't praising yet. You must be dying in here. Nurses, y'all finna get busy. Y'all finna get busy. Folks dying in here. The Bible says that everything that have breath. Praise the Lord. Let's give a quick test. Breathe in and blow out. If you breathe in and can blow out, you ought to be giving God some type of praise. Mars didn't say it, but the Bible says that everything. Praise the Lord. Because if God does something for you, you ought to have a reason to praise him. God know you had to bury family members. God know you lost your job. God know you're sick. But God say what? You still got a reason to give me a praise. And the last, number 4, it says, these stones were cry out, and we approached Jerusalem, the holy city. And Jerusalem is the holy city not only for Christians, but Jews, Israel, and the Muslims. They all fight over the land as their holy city. Amen. So if there's any city that should be holy, it should be Jerusalem. Amen. But when Jesus went to the holy city, the Bible says he wept over their condition. It's just like God come to church and he see believers can't get along. It's like God come to church and church folks fuss and fight with one another. Basically, God says, much as I've done for you, and you still can't see me. When Jesus went to the holy city, he saw the condition of the city. The people that should be praising him, the people that should be worshiping him, were doing everything but that, and it caused Jesus to cry. Let me help y'all. Do I have any mamas and papas in here? and you do something for that one child and they do everything but tell you thank you? Anybody got any grandbabies that you do so much for and they'll even cuss you out and act like you owe them something? They can't read or write and they walk around with $100 shoes on and they can't come here and cut your grass. You got to understand, just like a parent doing something for somebody and you turn around and say, you know what, you can appreciate my backside, but you keep on doing what you're doing for me. That's how Jesus felt. As much as he blessed his people, he come into the city and he couldn't find love, couldn't find joy. Number 4, even at our best, we still let God down. Being on the roll is not good enough. Singing in the choir, being on the deacon mission, preaching the pulpit, coming to church once or twice a month is not good enough. We got to get to a point where we make a sacrifice for the one that sacrificed all for us. Jesus says, as much as I've done for you, this is how you're going to treat me. And I start by to tell you, because some of y'all came to feel it and look a little bougie. Don't be bougie, because at your best, we still let God down. How you know, brother? Because the Bible says your righteousness is as filthy rags. So I don't praise God because I'm perfect. I praise God because I serve a forgiving God in my imperfection. I serve a God that still loves me because I'm still striving to be better. I realize I'm not perfect. I realize I let God down, and I serve a God that says something, even though you stumble and fail, I'll still pick you up. Don't you know the same folk that caused Jesus to die? Or the same folk that shouted when he walked into the city on this Thursday, or on this Sunday, hail, Hosanna on the highest. These are the same folks. He loved them so much, even though he cried for them, they shouted Hosanna on the highest, and they lined the street with palm branches as he rode the donkey in the city. They shouted and worshiped him. But Jesus knew by Thursday evening, those same folks that patted him on the back would be the same folks that shout, crucify him. And God is such a loving God. He loved them so much that he didn't just say, you know what, I will let you die a sinner's death. But Deacon Scott, he loved us so much, he said, I'm still going to die for their sin. I'm so glad to know, Deacon Bellinger, even though I messed up, I'm a sinner, wretched, undone, I got a God that still died for my sin. That's why I praise God, because he loved me enough to pay the price for my sin. The same crowd that shouted Hosanna was the same crowd that said crucify him. But while he was on that cross, he looked out and said, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they're doing. I stop on to tell you, when I don't know what I'm doing, I got a God that still give me another chance. Do I have anybody here so glad that you serve another chance, God? Notice I didn't say a second chance, God. I said another chance, God, because we messed up our second chances a long time ago. We serve a God of another chance. That God loved us so much that when we messed up, he died on the cross for our sin. And not only did he die, he let a whipping from the 6th to the 9th hour. The Bible tells us and teaches us that he used a cat and nine tail. A little bit of the history of a cat and nine tail is a leather strap with pieces of metal and iron at the end. So when they whooped Jesus, not only did they whip him with the leather strap, but when they snatched back pieces of blood came out of his body, they whipped him with these 39 lashes. He hung on the cross. They put a spike in his wrist, a spike in both wrists, a nail in his feet. He hung on that cross because he loved me so much. He hung on that cross. The Bible says, Sister Tony, he could have called out 12 legion angels, but he loved me so much. They hung there till the Roman soldier pierced him in the side. Blood and water came running out. But I thank God that they didn't stop my Jesus. He looked up to his dad and said, Eli, lama sabachthani. My God, why hast thou forsaken me? And sometimes it seems like you're all by yourself. He looked at his mother, tears running down her eyes. Looked at his half brother and said, Mother, behold your son. Son, behold your mother, because I got to go back to Dad. And don't you know why he was on that cross? He died. I I wish I had some Baptist folks that know he died. He died that Friday night. And while he was dead, the Bible said he went and set the captives free. Dead men got out of the grave and walked around. But that was not the end of the story. Because early on Sunday morning, 3 days later, he got up with all power in his hand. So I may be reaping right now, but that's the time to rejoice. Do I have anybody in here that say, I still got a reason to give God a praise? I may have struggles in my life, but I still got to praise. I may have some faults in my life, but I still got to praise. I may have trials and tribulations, but I still got to praise. Why are you praising? Not because of the bank account, not because of the car, not because of my home, but I'm praising because I serve a living Savior. Anybody know he's alive? How you know he's alive? Because he walks with me. He talks with me. And he tells me I am his own. And the joy we share as we carry there, none other have ever known. I start by to tell you, better learn to give God a praise. Don't wait till next Sunday to praise him. Don't wait till revival to praise him. Don't wait till your birthday to praise him. Don't wait till Christmas to praise him. You better praise him right now. Before the battle is fought and victory is born, true believers praise God in advance because I know God is going to show up. He may not come in my time, but it's right on time. I know God is still able to do everything but fail. A day of rejoicing, praising, and weeping. The people was excited. They said how God, he blessed you so much, you're so excited. But sometimes we forget to care about the things God wants to care about. Don't celebrate the blessing and forget about the blesser. Don't celebrate the creation and forget about the creator. But because if it weren't for God, you wouldn't have what you have. You wouldn't be who you are. You better learn to praise him while you have a chance. Give God praise in the building. And listen, you don't have to be all that spiritual to praise God. If you just think about it, something making you feel good, you can praise him for that. Because some of you praise God when you weren't even saved. You just praise God because you know it was God. So I challenge you today, don't let Jesus come down into your Jerusalem and you stop praising him. But also when he shows up here in Jerusalem, make sure you're doing the best you can that you can hear him say, well done. That's your challenge today. Because one day when he come back for us, he don't want to hear about what sister so-and-so said this to me or brother so-and-so. He walked away from nothing. Oh, what did you do? Do the best you can while you can. I don't leave with this. If you don't believe nothing else, believe this. Tomorrow is not promised. Today is the day of salvation. Easter Sunday may not make it. That's why I already wore my Easter suit. You making plans, but the planner may have different plans for you. How many times God has changed your plan?